People who work at or frequently visit Disney, what do you know that would ruin the magic? I have been stranded on a stopped rocket inside Space Mountain at Disneyland. It took about 15 minutes to get the ride moving again. Anyway, we ended up riding it with the lights on. And it's a surprisingly slow, tame roller coaster. There are fans blowing air in your face to give it the illusion of speed. When you walk through areas of Magic Kingdom and you smell freshly baked cookies in a certain area, it's not actual cookies from one of the stores. They secretly spray cookie smell to add to the effect. Back in 1971, when Disney was deciding where to build Disney World, as a way to gain an advantage over other locations, Florida gave them the rights to create their own local government. This is now known as the Reedy Creek Development District. If Disney wants to, they can build their own nuclear power plant. Edit. I got the name wrong. It is the Reedy Creek Improvement District. The https en.wikipedia.org/wiki/reedy_creek_improvement_district. I worked in broadcast services in Anaheim this year. There is not a single place in the park, except for bathrooms, and in some cast member areas, where you cannot be seen on CCTV. I don't think this ruins anything, but it always makes me laugh. The night show at Hollywood Studios is called Fantasmic, and it ends with a bunch of characters going by on Steamboat Willie. Then they all go inside and fireworks, sparks stream down the side of the boat. Well, Ariel has a tail and can't walk, so she has to stay outside on her pedestal at the back of the boat. So Prince Eric wraps a fireproof blanket around her before going in. It's dark on that part of the boat when it happens, but if you watch for it you can definitely see it. When you stay at a resort, Disney opens a file for you. They know where you eat, what rides you've been on, and how many times you've complained to a manager or guest services. That's why I think it hilarious when people online tell others online that they can get things for free if they complain. Sure, you might get something at first, but Big Brother Disney is keeping tabs on you. Whenever we have difficult guests, the first thing my manager does is pull up their file, and if you've been complaining and getting free things at every restaurant, ride, and hotel you've been to, chances are, your luck is about to run out. And it doesn't go away after you leave. It stays there, till the next time you come back. Think of it as your Disney permanent record. Also, the Disney Secret Security. They look just like a regular tourist, but their job is to walk around and watch for people doing things they're not supposed to be doing. It goes without saying that Disney is great at keeping sightlines in mind. A majority of buildings and ride queues are just facades. One that comes to mind is the Haunted Mansion in WDW. The building that looks like the ride has nothing in it and is about 1/16 of the actual size of the ride building itself. You can see it very well on Google, Apple Maps. Same goes for It's a Small World, Pirates of the Caribbean, American Adventure in Epcot, etc. Source: worked at Magic Kingdom in WDW. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Lots of visitors will try to spread the ashes of loved ones on theme park rides. Walt Disney World has 2 abandoned parks. 1. River Country was a water park. Before it closed, an 11-year-old visitor died after coming into contact with brain-eating amoeba at the park. Costumed characters are not allowed to take off their costume in public. The average temperature high in Orlando in summer is around 91. In 2004, a cast member dressed up as Pluto was killed after a parade float ran over him this year. I went to a conference for a small organization I'm in which a previous Disney CEO spoke at. He talked about how they focused on Disney princesses so they could sell lots of accessories to girls, and how little girls are much better to sell to than boys because boys are satisfied playing with sticks on the ground while little girls want more. I'm a cast member at Disneyland California. The one thing that ruins the magic is all the people who complain to get free things. I work at guest relations, and all the time people complain about trivial things to try and get fast passes, or other free things. My girlfriend is an avid Disney fan and goes all the time. Her favorite thing to point out is how often they reuse old animatronics. For example, in Disneyland, California, there used to be an old attraction called America Sings where animals would sing to an audience. When the ride closed, some of the geese in the attraction were stripped and used in the queue for Star Tours as droids. A lot of others ended up going to Splash Mountain. Rumor has it they used the old Big Al animatronic from the Country Bears for Oogie Boogie in the holiday overlay of the Haunted Mansion. They also reuse molds of animatronics. So there are many in Spaceship Earth, Carousel of Progress, and Haunted Mansion in Orlando who share faces with the president in the Hall of Presidents. I build concerts. Did Disney on Ice a number of times. Goofy once told me about his breakfast that morning. Wheaties with beer, no milk. It was a great performance that day. I saw some YouTube video of a Disney princess that worked at the park. She had literal stalkers that would show up constantly and talk to her. They would even get angry at the replacement if the person the stalker was stalking had to have their normal shift off. Disney wouldn't do anything until the stalker did something physical or lewd. A 40-year-old man coming to visit a specific 20-year-old girl that had to interact with the man with a smile day after day wasn't creepy enough for Disney. I rode on Space Mountain when they had all the lights on. It makes the whole thing really sketchy. The whole coaster area of the building was lit up with LED, fluorescent bulbs or something, and you could see everything. Stuff is a lot closer to your head than you think it is. And they use the dark to hide a lot of the inner workings instead of spending money on making it I'll match the theme of the ride. Overall, a really weird experience. I worked as a chef at Disneyland. Most of the food at the most expensive parts of Disneyland, the winery, Blue Bayou, use canned and overprocessed ingredients. Any dietary restrictions, you are most likely getting food from a microwave. Despite having some of the most skilled chefs on the planet, they cut corners in every way. The go-away green paint they use, that you don't notice, because you're not supposed to. It's on everything they don't want you to pay attention to. In Magic Kingdom at WDW, there is a vacuum system that literally sucks away trash to a central location backstage behind Frontierland. The floors of that central location have to be specially treated because so many people pour their sodas in the trash. If it wasn't, the acidity of the soda would literally eat away at the concrete floor. The vacuum system also makes the underground tunnels smell. Every time you call Disney, you're calling a random call center. Oh, just remembered another one. If you forget your name tag, you wear a spare from the Manger's office. Most of the spares say Chris from Orlando, because that's a unisex name. But a lot of cast members keep the spare and wear it when they're not feeling magical, so they can't get complaints. I did actually know one Chris from Orlando who was a cast member, and it sucked for him because he never got any cast compliments. Guest relations always figured it was a fake name. My daughter-in-law worked at WDW. Some days her only job was to organize the strollers outside of a theater. As one group left the show and took theirs, she'd push the next set of strollers forward. Otherwise you'd have the third and fourth show guest strollers blocking the paths. She was constantly being yelled for having moved themes. One lady said her purse was in the stroller with their passports and airline tickets. Once they found a sleeping toddler. No matter which car you get into on which ride, it's probably been puked in at least 100 times. I had a teacher who was a cast member at Disney. Said that every time he smells trash, he thinks of his time there because the crew member lounge in his area was right next to the dumpsters. I visit Disney every year. Something that ruined the magic when I found out was that people dump cremated ashes in the park. For example, Haunted Mansion, Small World, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Splash Mountain. Apparently, It's a hotspot for fans wanting their cremated ashes spread there after death, and some people literally just want to spend eternity at Walt Disney. In fact, one time when my family and I were in line for Splash Mountain, they had to shut down the ride and call the code. I believe the code name is HEPA, so staff members can vacuum it. People who do this usually get escorted out of Disney. So if you dump ashes in Disney, it'll probably get cleaned up and you'll be asked to leave. Oh right. This also happens in Disneyland. Edit. Wow, finally got more than 2 points and now I have over 300 karma. 1. Thanks kind people of Reddit.